This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Here is what they don't want you to know.
Owning a home is the cornerstone of any good financial plan or retirement strategy. I mean, that's the real reason we buy real estate.
You've got to be smarter if you want to be successful. That's what this show is
This is
for.
going to blow your mind. You're going to share this with everyone you know.
I guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
If you do nothing else in your lifetime to save for retirement other than own your home free and clear, you're going to be okay.
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Hello there, and welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place right here where we're guaranteed to make you smarter than everyone else, and it's all commercial free. Today's show, wall to wall with amazing guests, as we'll first speak with Mike Vinn, longtime San Diego comedian who will tell us what's new with him and what it's like trying to make it as a comedian in the internet age. Then we'll chat with Travis Winfield from Military Mutual. He'll give us the latest on what's happening with San Diego's premier military real estate firm. Then we'll chat with Libby Rogers and Greg May, who will reveal one of the best kept secrets for how to profit when it's time to sell your home. Next, we'll speak with Billy Colestock and Elizabeth Gillingham. They will give us the inside scoop on what's happening with Patrick Henry High School and how picking a school can help your real estate investment. And finally, we'll sit down with Dale Entrekin and Dacia McComb. They will help us uncover the major advantages this market is handing to us on a silver platter. It's all coming up right here, commercial free on Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Our next guest is a good friend of mine, and San Diego's very own funny man, Mike Vin, is here. Mike, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Just living life, enjoying it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is your prep for Conan, right? You're doing Conan in
Sound like that.
three, 4 weeks from now?
Well, we're working out details
Oh,
right
okay.
now. The final details, like submitting tape, talking to management.
Oh, that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I could be the launch pad for you,
Of course.
on the show
Of
here.
course.
Now, you've been running the Comedy Store now in La Jolla for 8 years plus?
Something like that. I started out as a door guy, seating people and throwing people out when they got too drunk. And then I got moved into days answering phones and then started talent coordinating and stuff like that and doing a bunch of promotions. So I'm technically the promotions manager, local talent coordinator, house MC person. So,
That's it?
That's it.
That's all. Okay.
Not too much.
Not too much. But you also are a comedian.
Yep.
You get a lot of stage time over there as well,
yeah.
which is great. I've seen your act many times. I mean, actually, I saw you years and years ago before we met.
I know, right?
I knew who you were. I was like, this guy's funny. He's not from around here. I could tell that. You're from Chicago.
Yep. Born and raised in Chicago. Came out here when I joined the Marine Corps. I hate winter time. San Diego does not have winter. So I was like, I'm staying. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So what's new for Mike Vinn these days?
Let's see. Well, I just celebrated my 3rd anniversary with my girlfriend.
Congratulations.
So that just happened. Thank you. Don't congratulate me. Congratulate her. Let's face it, anniversaries, those dates are for women. Those are for the ladies. They care about the anniversary. They care about how long, we've been together. Guys look at it from a different angle. We don't care so much about how long we've been together. We just care that we're still together.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like all the dumb stuff we do, we want to look over our shoulder and be like, oh, you still in this with me? All right, let's go. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Thank
right?
you. Now, I also understand that you like to hike, or you're a hiker.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. We are big hikers, and and I ended up getting, last year for anniversary, I ended up getting my girlfriend a dog. It's like white, fluffy, little half Maltese.
Big commitment.
Half
That's a big
Shih
present,
Tzu.
Mike.
Yeah, it's our little fur baby. You know what I mean? Like, it just runs around. It's a little scamper, little, like, Muppet-looking dog. Right? And because we bring this dog everywhere we go, we brought it on a hike with us. It was like 5 miles straight up a mountain like this.
Brought the dog.
We brought the dog, little fluffy Muppet dog. 5 steps into the hike, dog lays down. It's like, nah, I ain't doing this. No, like, this is not happening. So I go to teach it, how to walk up a mountain. I start pulling the leash. My girlfriend freaks out on me. She's like, babe, what are you doing? I was like, I'm teaching the dog how to walk. She's like, no, you're not. You're dragging it. I was like, well, that's how they learn. You know what I mean? Like,
He's going to get sick of getting dragged at some point.
exactly, right? It's got to move your feet, So I'm like, what do you want me to do with it? She's like, carry it. I'm like, I'm not carrying a white fluffy dog up 5 miles a mountain. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. So I'm like, that's not happening. She goes, well, just put it in your backpack, right? And I didn't have like a real backpack. I had like a little cinch bag.
Fanny pack.
Yeah, well, no, like
Probably
it was a cinch bag. Right? It was just those once you pull the strings and it closes at the top.
Gotcha.
And just had bottles of water in there. So I'm like, fine. I put the dog in that, put it on the front of my body like it's some jacked up baby Bjorn. Right? To walk 5 miles up a mountain while people with real dogs are walking past us talking. That's just, oh my God. Yeah, she thought it was the cutest thing she'd ever seen in her life. So she pulled out her phone, started snapping pictures of it, posted them online, and she gave me the caption. She took a picture of it, posted online with the caption, "He used to be tough." Right?
Hashtag.
Yeah, and then she tags me in it.
Nice.
So all her friends see it, and all my friends see it too.
That's beautiful.
It
Well,
is.
congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that 3-year anniversary. That's part of it right
Yeah,
there, right?
that is. That's what you do. That's what you do when you're in love.
You
spoil them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you spoil her. I mean, at least I've heard some of the stories. You're a spoiler.
I spoil her so much that it's a legitimate concern of hers that if something were to happen to me.
She's actually worried about you.
Yeah, we're on a picnic, and she looks at me and she's like, "Babe, you spoil me so much. Like, if something were to happen to you, like, I don't know what I would do, how I would survive." And like I told her, I was like, "You'd probably have to go to like a woman's sanctuary or something like that, like a place where you can go to relearn how to do normal everyday things.
Yes,
you know, like you can't take a lion out of the jungle,
Right.
put him in captivity." Like 10 years later, release him back in the jungle. It's going to die.
Right.
Same thing with the woman's, like the spoiled girl sanctuary. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
This is where you take them to reteach them how to do things like cook.
You should open that.
Yeah,
That'd be a good
yeah,
business
right.
idea.
Cook, clean, use their own money, stuff like that. You know? And then for the ones who can't be rehabilitated, we'll have like adoption events, like outside bowling alleys and sports bars and stuff. You know, all of a sudden your friend Bob like shows up with some new girl. It's like, oh my God, like where did you meet her? Like who is she? Like, oh, this is Tiff. She's a rescue. You know, it's just,
Who rescued who?
right? Exactly. But yeah, so that's my life.
That's
what's
pretty
going
cool,
on.
man. Yeah, you have a very interesting gig, man. Because working at the Comedy Store, I mean, the world famous Comedy Store.
Oh my God, so
in La
much
Jolla.
history.
You see so many famous people who come there on the weekends to do their comedy acts. I'm just curious, like, who's the coolest cat you've ever met? Like, 'cause famous people have a reputation for being sort of stuck up or short with people or rude sometimes. Who's the coolest cat you've ever met?
Oh man, there's so many of them. Like okay, like there's people like Ahmed and Steve Byrne and Brett Ernst and Steve Renazizi and all these people. Like after the shows, we would all go out, and like the whole staff would go out, and a lot of times they would just slap their card on the bar and be like, all these people, all 20 of these people, all the comics and all the staff that came out tonight, they're on me.
Wow.
And they would just pop it down. Cheech and Chong were really cool. They were really nice. Tommy Chong actually gave weed. I don't know if I could say that out loud or not, but he,
Sure you can.
Yeah, I just did. But he gave people weed. Whitney Cummings is always nice, but she's a workaholic.
Okay.
Like she comes out, gets some coffee, gets some water and stuff like that, but she's always in the green room, always writing, and she's always like plucking away, but she's busy. You know,
she
got
is busy.
shows upon shows and specials to write, and
She
so
really
she's,
blew up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember her when she was nobody. Like before she was on the roast, I think it was the roast of Joan Rivers, when she was just like her first headlining spot in La Jolla and stuff like that. I was a door guy, seating people. And like she would just be in the green room just writing and just writing and just writing. So a lot of people think she's stuck up, but she's not.
She's
just a workaholic.
Focused.
She's focused.
There's a big difference. So
That's
tell
a
me,
huge difference.
I'm sure you've met some real a-holes in your time as well.
I still work with them. They still come down every now and again.
Can you name names, or is that a problem?
That's a problem. That's like, well, here's the thing. Like,
I had to ask.
there's this one guy, not to name a name, but he always came down. He was very much just a straight jerk. You know, he was very like controlling. Things had to be a certain way. He was always upset. But then after a while, he changed. You know, and then he, like, I guess he realized that he wasn't as big as he thought he was, or, you know, like his career wasn't going to take off. So, like, you know, you got to be nicer to the people. But yeah, he just started. It seemed like he started caring. You know what I mean? And people could always change.
They can.
You know, they can always like decide that what they're doing is wrong and work for better. So I want to give that person the benefit of the doubt. But in the beginning, he was just a jerk.
Mike, I've seen some amazing people at the Comedy Store. I've seen Rowdy Piper, which, by the way...
I was on that show.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
by the way.
One of the nicest people. You were there for the pizza party.
Yeah.
He did that with his own money.
Did he?
With his own money. He's like, you know what? Let's have a pizza party.
That's awesome.
And he just brought pizzas
For everybody. That guy was amazing on stage. I mean, the first thing he did, he comes out and chugs a rockstar, the whole thing. So he doesn't say a word. Rowdy Piper comes on the stage, doesn't say anything. Someone brings him a rockstar, he cracks it, and then just chugs the whole thing, smashes the can, and the whole place goes crazy. It was awesome. I was like, wow. This guy, he's really bringing it tonight. Yeah. The show was awesome, too.
Oh, yeah. It was one of the funnest shows I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
So, and one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Fantastic stuff.
So
a couple of big topics out there. I
Okay.
just want to get your take real quick, 'cause we're almost out of time. A couple of things that happened recently. You know, we've got Donald Trump in the news. He's out there, you know, talking a lot. Supreme Court finally stepped up for gay marriage.
Yes, they did.
Any opinions on any of this hot topic stuff?
Trump's an idiot. God, I hope the rest of America sees it the same way. I know that black people, Hispanic people, and Democrats will all be like, forget him. Mm-hmm. But with gay marriage, I'm happy it got passed. Yeah. I really am. I really am happy. Like, you know, like I believe that gay people have the right to be just as miserable as straight people. No, just kidding. But I mean, like, you know, like if they really want to do something, like if the Christians and the Republicans really want to hurt the gay people, they should make gay divorce illegal. You know what I mean? Like, no, you're stuck now. You guys aren't going anywhere. You made your choice.
I'm going to do this for life.
It's for life. It's like God intended.
Divorces are illegal.
Yeah, right?
Maybe that'll be the next thing. Maybe just gave him a great idea.
Exactly. And that's why Kim Davis is so mad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they're actually finding somebody who they're going to spend the rest of their life with.
Yeah.
Right? And she's, divorced 4 or 5 times now? Something like that?
Several times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too up on the Kim Davis drama, but I know she's back on her job. Somehow she still has a job. I don't know how you can get thrown in jail for something you do on the job and still have a job.
Yeah, right?
I've never heard of anything like that before. But she's the one person who has that.
The one person.
And so she's back on the job and refusing again to issue licenses.
Well, but she's not going to stand in the way of other people from doing their job.
Is that what it is?
That's the stipulation.
That was the stipulation.
She's been there for 20 years or something like that.
Yeah,
and she
27 years.
Whatever. She's just bitter. She's bitter. She's not going to find a guy as good looking as the other guys are finding. Plus the guys that the other guys are finding can cook and clean and do all that other stuff and and drink like a normal human being. The guys she's finding are drinking and divorcing or sobering up. I'm like, what did I do?
I gotta get out
of this relationship.
Buddy man, Mike Vin, thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Really appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you at the Comedy Store soon.
Yeah.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
Our next guest is Travis Winfield from Military Mutual. Travis, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Derek.
Great to have you here. Now, we've had Derek Barksdale, the founder, on before. You're the Human Resources Director for Military Mutual, and you're also currently in the Navy.
I am.
So you got a full plate, my friend.
I do, at least for another year.
Yeah.
Going to be slowly transitioning out and be able to keep helping out veterans in the civilian sector, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is really cool. The story for Military Mutual is great, but you have a really good story for how you got involved when Derek helped you buy your house. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what kicked off the idea, really. I was stationed, and he's had it for a long time, but I got to experience it firsthand. I was stationed in Italy, was trying to find a home, had a realtor out here, and just when you're that far away, it's feeling detached and everything. So I ended up firing this guy, and a real close friend of mine introduced me to Derek, and man, Derek was still active duty at the time, crazily enough, and he picked me up from the airport, drove me around, was like my chauffeur for an entire week. and then dropped me off, found a home. 3 months later, he worked it out so perfectly. I flew in on the 23rd. On the 25th of July, I moved into my house and had the keys. It was absolutely perfect.
That's crazy. I mean, that's really well done, just in general, for a real estate transaction. But what were you thinking at that time?
Well, it's one of those things when you're active duty, you feel really detached and everything, and nobody really understands military unless you're actual military. And Derek was again active duty at the time. He knew the challenge of him. I flew in on house hunting leave, and he was picking me up, and he was just amazing. And he approached me about 6 months later with this vision of starting a company that only represented military, and that transformed into us only hiring military veterans and their families, and it's just exploded from there, and it's just been a blessing to be a part of it.
It really has. I mean, I love seeing what you guys are doing. It's amazing how well it's caught on. You have a great name, Military Mutual. That's a great name. It tells the story in 2 words, which is really hard to do.
Absolutely.
What do you do as the Human Resources Director for Military Mutual?
Well, I have many roles, but primarily I'm focused on providing employment opportunities to our military veterans and their families. So I spend a lot of time on phones, doing webinars, just educating veterans on the opportunities that we can provide them, both either in the civil, as a military spouse, or even as an active duty member who just needs some supplemental income.
Okay, so it's not just people who are necessarily in the military. Sometimes it's their spouse.
Absolutely.
Who gets involved.
Absolutely.
And is it all real estate sales? Is that the idea behind the opportunity with Military Mutual for these people, or is there other opportunities in the organization as well?
Well, many opportunities. So aside from the different training aspects that we do, but we do a lot of course, we manage property, we do buying, selling, pretty much we're a full service real estate firm.
Right.
So being in the military, we deal with the challenges of being PCS'd every 3 years. And people are going to do one of 2 things at the end of 3 years if they have to move. They have to sell the house they purchased, or they need to manage it, have somebody manage it. And we provide both services.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of the biggest services we provide is for the first 3 years after you purchase your home, we do free property management.
So let me ask you this question. And if this sounds like a stupid question or is a stupid question, just tell me. But you've got people who are active duty military. And some of these people, yourself included, Derek included, when you're telling the story about yourself when you bought your home, who are doing real estate while active duty. So are you able to take people with no experience? In other words, someone who says, hey, I want to do something with my spare time. I'm excited about real estate, or I'd like to earn some supplemental income. I know a lot of people. Maybe this is something that would be good for me. You can take someone with absolutely no experience and walk them through and teach them how to do this?
Actually, that's what we prefer. Unfortunately, in the real estate industry, there's a lot of people that just get into the industry and just aren't educated enough in the industry to provide true service. So we actually only really recruit people who have no experience. And we have a very rigorous training program to include an internship program. Those in the Navy will get a chuckle. We actually have a qualification standard, very similar to the Navy's personal qualification standards. We call it the company qualification standard. And we actually have line items they have to actually get trained to before they can actually practice real estate in our company. On top of that, we have weekly trainings to educate and get our realtors smart. But the other thing we do is, even if you're active duty, we have a position. So we have 2 positions. We have one, the military relocation professional, who is somebody who practices real estate. Not either part-time or full-time. But then we also offer an opportunity called the military liaison. And the military liaison could be active duty, or just maybe they even a full-time job and they just can't break into real estate right now because they need that first and 15th paycheck. Well, the military liaison is somebody who is basically educates our veterans on their benefits, and then they can turn around and and can refer that to one of other military relocation professionals, and then the company will provide compensation to that military liaison just for educating and passing on their clients to our company.
Wow. I could see a lot of people being able to use that as a way to supplement income and get involved, to kind of get started.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, people don't join the military to become rich, so anything that we can do to help offset the expenses that our military veterans have, because when you move here to San Diego, they give you a basic allowance for housing, but the basic pay is still the same, and you're paying twice as much for dinners and everything else you would in most other places in the country. It's
just nutty how little our military personnel get paid for the service that they provide. I've seen some things on Facebook and online. Here's a copy of what a paycheck looks like for someone who's just fresh in. I don't know what you call them, a private or whatever. But the brand new person in the military, here's their paycheck, and I'm just shocked. That's what we're paying these guys who are going out there laying their lives on the line. It just blows me away. So part of what I love about what you guys are doing is, number one, educating people in the military about how real estate works, because hey, this is a good way for you if you're going to be in the military for a long time, like yourself. You've got 20 years coming up, right? So that's a long time. Well, during that time, like you said, you're not getting rich in the military. You got to come up with a way to build some wealth. Real estate, best way to do that. You've got the VA loan where you can buy a home with no money down, essentially, or very little. So that's an opportunity that people in the military really need to know about. So I love the fact that you're doing that. But then, just like cherry on the top, have your cake and eat it too, whatever you want to call it, you're also teaching people how to get involved in the business so that they have a career, have an opportunity outside for when they're done with their service to the country.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic.
Well, one of the exciting things that we do, and the big thing that we teach all of our members and all of our team members, is the fact that don't chase the money. Because yes, we do want to offer them, that opportunity to be successful, but we try to teach them that it's not about the money. We're about giving back. We're about providing that veteran an opportunity to succeed. Yes. But don't chase the money, because if you're righteous about taking care of our veterans and giving back, the money will follow. If you chase it, you'll never catch it.
Yeah.
But if you're just there to do the right thing and help out our veterans, the money will follow. As simple as that.
I'm curious, because you said before you bought your first house, you were in Italy. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what it was that made you realize, I need to buy a house. I'm over here in Italy. I need to buy a house. What made you think that? What made you come to that decision?
Well, actually, that was my second home that I was looking to purchase. The first home I purchased was in Virginia, and I had purchased it in 2004. And again, I must have had some blessings going on, because I was able to, I got orders to transfer to Italy, and I was able to sell it literally 2 weeks before the real estate bubble burst back in 2006. And so I was able to sell my home, make a profit, transfer overseas for 3 years, and then come back once the market had bottomed out and make another real estate purchase. So there are many, and that's a little thing that only military people know they can take advantage of. And so that's something that we can specialize in to really give our military members that unique insight into making proper real estate investments.
And I just want to clarify something, because you're in the Navy. Derek was in the Navy, but you help any veterans, active duty or post.
Any military.
Period.
And that's because anybody who's serving in the military is doing something above and beyond and doing something greater than themselves, and that's what we want to do as well.
Travis, I want to give you an opportunity to look into the camera, tell the person who's watching this right now who might be in the military why they should consider talking with you in Military Mutual.
Well, I say it's very simple. We are about giving back, and we're about providing opportunities to our veterans and their families that we try to keep it in the family. Well, we do. There's no trying about it. So we're a very exclusive organization, and as I mentioned before, nobody understands military unless you've actually served yourself. And when I say serve, that includes our family members, because they bear the burden just like our active duty military do. So we want to provide them the opportunity as well.
Fantastic stuff, Travis. Thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate your service to this country. Thank you for coming on this show.
Thanks, Derek, for having me.
That's Travis Winfield from Military Mutual. If you or someone you know is in the military, check out militarymutual.org. Amazing opportunities there. And stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Our next guests are a couple of serious power players in the San Diego real estate market. Please welcome to the show Libby Rogers and Greg May. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey.
Thanks, Derek.
Yeah, great to have you here. So, Libby, you're a real estate expert. Greg, you're the CEO of a mortgage company. Here today to tell us about what I think is one of the best kept secrets in the industry, not just for people in the industry, but for consumers as well. It's called AgentsCapital. Libby, something you've been using in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Greg, it was kind of his mastermind. And
he's the mastermind. That's why we have him here.
That's very.
He was, appealing to what our needs are as realtors, and finding that a lot of people may want to maximize their sale price.
Right.
But may not have resources
to
do so. And so we could be helpful to an extent, but not to the degree of, coming up with tens of thousands of dollars or even thousands of dollars to do renovation work that could increase their sale price.
Right, and a lot of people don't know about this, Greg, but you came up with this brilliant idea to do this for your mortgage company so that you could help home sellers, help real estate agents, and ultimately help your clients and your company.
I'm glad you just called me brilliant, because I say that around the house all the time. My wife's always a joke in our house, so when she sees this, it's going to be great. It really is a great idea, but we fell into it accidentally, so I can take no credit for any brilliance there. As a home flipper and real estate investor, as you know, the market was pretty booming for us at some time a couple of years ago. And then that market dried up. So we had this private equity fund. We're sitting there with all this capital, nothing to do with it. And then we realized there are tens of thousands of properties in San Diego County who need work. So the prices of houses have come up because of all the renovations and all the flips that were going on. And now that market doesn't exist. But yet everyone in the neighborhood still thinks their house worth a move-in ready property, but that's just not the case. So what we did was we created a company to help realtors like Libby, who understand that process and understand that they can help put tens of thousands of dollars in consumers' pockets, but they have to do, and a lot of times, a lot of things to the property to make it worth that high value. So we've deployed capital on jobs anywhere from $9,000 to just putting in new appliances to $175,000 with total remodels.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, the only thing we look at is how can we put more money in the end user, in the seller's pocket. So Libby gets that. Not all agents out there get that. Not all home sellers get it. But it's a very fast process because we have teams and teams of flippers that we've been working with, contractors who are now not as busy as they used to be, but they have a lot of guys on their own team that are in-house, and they can go in, they can do it in 3 to 4 weeks, put that house back on the market, and in one weekend of open houses, we're seeing 11, 12, 13 different offers on these properties.
So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have Libby give us an example of one that she's using this for right now and how that works, and then I want Greg to tell us, how does this actually work? Let's say I want to use the service that AgentsCapital provides. So Libby, give us an example of one that you're working on right now using AgentsCapital.
I'll give you an example of one that's probably a little bit extraordinary, but it will give a really
I like extraordinary.
good, I do too. I think that's great. I have some clients who have a home that's in the shy of $3 million category, and
wow.
It needs, it's actually brilliant, but has like your typical needs. It's got the old colors, needs some updating with colors and with carpeting that's worn, and then the landscape on the big acre spread is getting a little tired. So things most buyers don't like to see in a property that they're paying an exorbitant large sum of money for. So we had listed it, no buyers, got it in escrow, fell out of escrow, and the long story short, we have it listed in the 2.2 to 2.4 realm with no buyers because it needs paint and carpet.
Do you have an appraisal on the property, or have any idea what do you think it's worth?
The appraisal value $2.8 million with a model match that sold across the street at 3.2 that had some ocean view. So fabulous, fabulous property in steps. Greg, we are going to go ahead and have our clients move, do the carpet, the paint, and do a beautiful staging job. And it will cost approximately $60,000. And we expect to get our 2.8 appraised value.
So you have it listed for 2.2 to 2.4, no takers, no offers in that range.
No takers.
You think by just putting the $60,000 into it that you'll get the 2.8 range?
Absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property, but like most all of the properties, there's stains on the outside of the house. Landscaping has died or just not been taken care of. Paint colors were to the owner's liking, right? So they were very specific. They're not generic. They're not what a buyer wants to see when they walk in. They want to be wowed, not, ooh, I don't like that paint. I don't like that carpet. The house needs this, it needs that. When you're in that kind of price range, it needs to be move-in ready. That's the difference. We make a move-in ready that will appeal to every buyer that walks in the door.
It's
Again,
amazing.
it's not about what we like. You make that change from what the homeowner likes to what a buyer, all buyers will like. You got a winner.
Buyers want a house, not a project. In Southern California especially.
Yeah.
Very plug and play and beautiful, and they will pay for it.
They will, and we've seen that. And it's funny
Yes.
because a lot of times you'll see houses stay on the market, even in a low inventory environment, even in an environment where the market's been going up for years straight now, you'll still see where buyers are very picky.
Absolutely.
Even though there aren't that many homes out there, they're still very picky. It's because of the internet and all these different ways to find properties and get notifications. They've got ways that they can sit back and go, I'm gonna wait till one blows me away. Then I'm gonna go march at it full speed. And by putting that little extra cash into a property like this, and I say little, $60,000 because we're talking about a $2 million basis here, $2 to $3 million basis. 60 grand, that's nothing, in comparison to what you're gonna gain. In this case, at least 400,000 to 600,000 in return.
Small.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just nuts.
And that is an extraordinary example. We have many properties in the 250, 400 range that we put 20, 30, 40,000 in, and now they're in the 500,000 range. So it's all across the board. Really, truly in San Diego, there's just opportunity for sellers to walk away with tens of thousands of extra dollars if they just put the money in the property.
Okay, Greg, you've got me sold now. It makes sense. I get it. You want to provide the cash, but there's got to be something in it for you, okay? I'm the home seller. Do I have to pay you back 1.5 times? Do I have points here? What is it that I have to do as the home seller in order to get that opportunity to use Agents Capital?
So the process works is that an agent like Libby will contact us, and again, we don't work with every agent because not all agents understand this, and I don't have a lot of time to be dragged out on properties that when the agent doesn't get it and the seller doesn't get it, then it's a waste of time. So when that happens and we have a relationship like we have with Libby, she understands and knows what the property needs to get it sold top dollar. So a lot of my work is done for me. So we'll meet and confer on the property, and we both agree on what we think it's worth as it sits today. And then we say, okay, if we fully rehab the property, what would it be worth after we're finished with that? And so somewhere in between is the right number, right? So if it's a 400 today and we think if it's fully there, we can get 500 for it. So if we put 100 in the property, that's a push for the seller. And it makes no sense to do it. So we're not in the process of fixing up houses just for the sake of fixing up houses. If the seller can't walk away with additional money in their pocket over selling it today, then there's no point in doing it. So in that kind of scenario, a 60 or 50 number would kind of come into play, and then we start backwards. Okay, this house needs 10 things. How many of them can we get in that 50 so that we can still get it sold for top dollar and let the seller walk away with more cash? And so then once we agree on that number, say it's 50, our fees at Agents Capital are no points, no interest. For 120 days, we charge a flat 10% management fee on the job. So if it's 50,000 we're deploying in capital, then it's 5,000 to us as our fee, so 55 total, and that 55 gets the seller an extra 30, 40 in their pocket. So I think it's a pretty good rub to spend $5,000 actually to get an extra 20, 30, 40 on the back end. And we don't get paid a dime until the house sells and it all comes out of escrow.
And see, that's the huge part here with regard to that, because it's obviously a very small fee for someone to not have to have really any skin in the game themselves. You're taking care of everything for them.
No skin in the game.
No skin, just, hey, all right, we're gonna do a quick lien and then that'll get paid off through closing and boom, everybody's paid off.
Libby's team's expertise, my team's expertise, and we come in and take care of that for you.
And the interests are aligned. So not only do you have experts on both sides, but everybody's interest is in the same, pointing in the same direction. We want to get this house sold for top dollar with as little expense as possible. It's just a great situation.
And so you asked what the catch was. So obviously that money that we're making at Agents Capital is not going to get us wealthy. But what we're looking at is a more longer term play, because since we do own a mortgage company, I'm looking for relationships with quality realtors. And so I may not get every Agents Capital deal and I may not get all their deals, but Agents Capital is helping us develop relationships with quality realtors. And that's really the long-term play for us. So if we can help a few people make a few dollars selling their houses, and in the turn, what is in it for me? Agent relationships. So if this is a tool I can bring to the market to help the agents get more listings, sell their properties for more, and help their buyers and their sellers, we're happy to do it, because in the end, I see a long-term relationship with Libby and many agents like Libby.
Fantastic stuff. And Libby, have you ever heard of anything like this? Because I've never heard of anything like this before in the marketplace.
I've been in business for 19 years, and I'm here to say that I don't believe it exists, and so it's a pretty powerful tool to help someone grow their down payment without them having to empty out their savings account, save more, buy something smaller.
Getting over
less.
their heads, how about, on fixing up a house? I mean, how often does that happen?
Right.
Quite a few times. I've seen some war zones.
How many times does that happen? I mean, you're protecting them and insulating them from everything that is bad about doing something like that. It's just great stuff. And thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this, what I continue to call the best kept secret in the San Diego real estate marketplace. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks
Thanks so much.
Appreciate your time. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. This next segment will be a lot of fun. We have a very special guest and a very special returning guest. Billy Colestock is here, our neighborhood expert in Del Cerro. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having us.
Hey, it's great to have you here. And you brought a special guest with you today, Elizabeth Gillingham. Listy.
Yes.
You are the principal at Patrick Henry High School. How are you?
I am. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Thanks for being here. Now, you took over there, 4 years ago now?
4 years ago.
Big turnaround, huh?
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, Billy, we're going to talk later in the segment about how picking a school is really important when buying real estate.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's a huge component of why people pick certain neighborhoods and want to live in certain areas. You wanted to bring Listy in today to talk about all the cool stuff that's happening at Patrick Henry High School, which is also where you have a daughter
Absolutely.
going to school.
Yeah, there's great things happening at the school, and so it's really exciting to have the principal here to talk to us about what's going on in Del Cerro.
Yeah. So now, I used to live across the street from Patrick Henry, so I used to go down there and kick footballs in the football field and stuff, and I used to see and hear the band and all that. And there's always been a lot going on there. Now it seems like, I mean, we visited you there to prep for this show, and you've got this major construction. What are you building there?
We are getting to the 21st century. It's about time as we get close to being a 50-year-old school.
Wow.
We're building a performing arts center thanks to the taxpayers through Prop S and Prop Z. It's going to be a 500-seat, beautiful theater, and it's going to be just state-of-the-art, wonderful facility for our kids to use. And it'll bring us from having a cafetorium to a real theater, which I'm very excited about. And that's just phase one. In this piece as well, we're going through and getting air conditioning, which a lot of the schools are doing, and we're thrilled to be part of that as well. And then we have phase two, where we get rid of all of our bungalows, and we have this another beautiful 2-story building. So, and then phase three, we have a new football field. So
really,
it's going to be, the whole entrance is going to change, and it's going to have a nice, snack bar and snazzy everything. So we're very excited.
That's very cool. I mean, air conditioning's huge. We've been
Yes.
experiencing that lately. I live in Del Mar. There's no AC, and I don't know if anyone has AC in Del Mar. I certainly don't. So it's been tough. And I imagine out there in Del Cerro, it's been warm as well during that period of time. So school just started. Fortunately, it hasn't been going on the entire heat wave. But it's great to hear that you're getting AC. This auditorium that you're building, it sounds like it's going to be a legit performing arts, you're going to be able to have actual theater take place there.
We're going to have an orchestra pit, and we're going to have an orchestra shell, and we have a Steinway piano that was donated, and so 9-foot concert style, so it's going to be beautiful.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know this too about Patrick Henry, and maybe it's because of the last time they heard or looked into it was years ago, long before you took over. But you've been recognized as a top 500 school nationwide, right?
Yes, we have. Number 169, and that's based on our graduation rates and the number of kids who are passing AP exams. We had a 95% pass rate for our AP Calculus BC class, which is amazing.
Calculus.
95%, 45
I
kids.
took that class.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if I would have.
And many of them, we had 89% in AP English Lang, so we had some really high test scores, and that's a credit to the teachers and a credit to our students who work really hard.
Yeah, well, it's incredible because when you think about Patrick Henry, it's an enormous school. Now, I went to high school in the state of Missouri, and I went to the biggest high school in the entire state, which had about 3,000 kids. You've got 2,500
I know.
at Patrick Henry.
But it works. It's a great community, and the kids are wonderful, and every day you can be out there, and it makes it feel like a small school because you're welcoming kids, and they're welcoming you, and It's great.
How do you get up to 2,500 though? It's just hard for me to believe that in Del Cerro there's 2,500 high schoolers. Is there really that many?
Well, it's 2,450, but close enough. And we don't want to lose anybody. Originally, when the school opened, I hear there were 3,000 kids, 4,000 kids, and it was only a 3-year school, 10, 11, and 12.
Holy smokes!
So,
wow.
But we've got our share of bungalows, and we find a way to put them in the classrooms. And I think when we go to a new 2-story building, which will have a world language, we call it an international hallway, and a math hallway, that'll be really wonderful. I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot of things coming up. There's things in progress right now. The future is bright for
Future is
Patrick Henry
bright,
High
and
School.
it's going to be a wonderful place for the neighbors to look down and see a beautiful campus that they're nearby.
Yeah, fantastic stuff for the community too, right, Billy? I mean,
Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
I'm curious, how long is the different phases going to be?
Well, if everything goes according to plan, phase 1 will be completed by May, and that would be including the Performing Arts Center and all the modernization of the campus. And then phase 2 hopefully will start in the summer. And so the new 2-story building will take a little over a year to build, and then that will eliminate all the bungalows on the campus. And then shortly after that, I think it's 2017, we go into the football field. And then on the docket is a swimming pool. So I'm hopeful that that's going to stay, and we get all of that.
That's great for the community. I mean, it really is, and that's going to build up the recognition of the school and everything.
I think so. It'll be great for the kids.
What do I have to do to get a piece of the AstroTurf? Are you guys going to be hawking that?
Well, no, I think that we just did the field, so that part will stay, but it's the whole entrance. It needs to be ADA, so they'll upgrade all of the way we come in, and we're getting a new Patrick Henry statue, and so we're really excited about changing the look and the feel at Patrick Henry.
Fantastic. And Billy, you have a daughter who goes to Patrick Henry.
Yep.
What's your kind of feedback as a parent? I mean, what is the experience? She's very active, I hear.
Yep, she's in basketball. She's also in a lot of those AP classes. So, she really loves her experience there. And she also talks really highly of the principal because the principal's super hands-on. So that's credit to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Now let's talk about the business elements here, right? So the community has made the decisions to, divert the funds to make these changes. We've got a great principal on hand now. Things are really looking up for this area. What is that going to do for homeowners or potential homeowners who are looking to buy in the Del Cerro, San Carlos area?
Well, I think everybody who starts a home search, whether it's in San Diego or wherever it's in the country, they first off think of the school. Where will my children go to school? And so Del Cerro has some fantastic schools. But one of the things that obviously we want our kids to go to a great school and have a great experience, but also the monetary aspect of it, as you brought up, people will see that the housing prices will become more stable. As the schools get more notoriety, have more funding going to them, more people are going to want to come into that school district, and that's going to stabilize the community prices. And then also, when you're talking about resale aspect, so as you're saying that the phases are going on until 2017, maybe even 18. Well, this is talking into 3, 4, 5 years from now that the prices are going to only go up in that area because it's going to attract new folks. Maybe somebody's going to want to come to the performing arts specifically because of what Patrick Henry is offering at that time.
I would think that would be huge because I don't know if there's anything like that in any other high schools around San Diego, but there won't be anything that's as new.
No.
That's for sure. So, I mean, there are a lot of people here. We see, the film school at SDSU does really, really well. They draw people from all over the place to go to that film school. And just Southern California is kind of known as an artsy place. This is where the arts are still alive, if you will, one of the few places in the country. I think that is going to be huge for you guys. So what happens if someone who lives outside of the area wants to come be involved with this new performing arts center? They're going to have to move into the area? Is that how it works?
No, we have a choice process. So in February, if they fill out a choice application, they get in the mix of a lot of other people, and we can only accept so many, but we definitely do accept some people from all over the city if parents want to transport them to Patrick Henry, so they have an option.
They have an option. So it's possible that you can get in. But if you want to make sure of it,
then you should definitely purchase a home in the area because that's a guaranteed entry.
You're going to have to move into the area. I think that's going to be pretty big, Billy.
And a lot of people do that anyway. I mean, there's people who move from one community to another just so that their children can be in the
school their choice.
Exactly. And I mean, one community, Poway, a lot of people go directly towards that community here in San Diego for that purpose, and they'll cross lines. And so I think the Patrick Henry, what they're doing is only ensuring that we're going to get a lot of folks who are going to be moving into the area.
Yeah, which is great for homeowners because we should see prices at least stabilize. They've been going up for a long time, so they probably continue to do that.
But even in a down market, when you have downward trending prices, those areas that are sought after for the schools and the school districts, they maintain their prices.
And that's exactly what you want, you know, if you're a homeowner in a particular area. It's good news that's going to help stabilize your area even in a down market.
I mean, and that's the reality is that the people will be wanting to move back into it even in a down market.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. Listy, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. I know you're very busy running the school and you had to take time out of your day, so thank you for being here. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk about my school and the kids at Patrick Henry. Go Patriots!
There it is.
Awesome.
And Billy, thank you so much for bringing Listy in today. That was a really good idea. And I learned a lot. Hopefully you did too. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Our next guests are brother-sister real estate duo here in San Diego, my good buddy Dale Entrekin and his sister Dacia McComb. How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks
Really
for
good.
having us.
Thanks for being here. Of course, Dale, top 10 lender in San Diego, based on the Smarter San Diego poll. I should mention that for sure.
That's right. Always make sure you mention that.
I will. I will always. Where's your trophy, by the way?
I know. I usually carry it around in my car, take it around with me everywhere I go.
It's in your pocket. He's like, speaking of.
It's a great intro. It's a great lead in my appointments. I just put it on the end of the
Yeah, that's right. You just set it up
Did
there.
you see that?
And Dacia, you're Dale's sister. You're a real estate agent.
I am.
Steel Canyon Realty, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're the broker.
Yes.
Okay, very, very cool.
Yes.
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity happening right now in this marketplace, and I look forward to speaking with you guys about that because a lot of people don't know. It's really crazy when prices go up so much so quickly. There are a lot of people who are just kind of in the dark, right? You bought your house, and what do you care what prices are now? You know, you're living life, you're going to work, you're taking your kids to practice, and that's all you're really thinking about. You're not thinking about what real estate prices are. You're no longer looking in the market. You don't realize your home went up $100,000 in value in the last 6-8 months or whatever. But that provides an opportunity on two fronts, in my opinion. First of all, I want to confirm with you, do you see the market is really at a place where it's as high as it's been in quite some time now?
Yeah, definitely. It hasn't fully recovered to the point where it was at its highest.
Okay.
But it's definitely up there, and to the point where buyers are starting to even say, well, are we in a place where it's going to go down again? Should I wait? And I think Dale will go over it a little bit more on the rates, but taking advantage of the rates now, the forecast for jobs and the employment numbers is good. And so they're really forecasting that the values will continue to rise, not as fast as it has been in the last couple of years. But I feel like it's a great opportunity for buyers to get in at these low rates before they start to creep up.
Okay, Dale, is that what we're seeing? Have rates are they the same as where they were last time, or have they gone up?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of volatility in the market overall. You know, we have the Fed meeting this week, and we have all kinds of things that are coming out, and it's really pushing towards, at some point, rates going up. But right now, it's kind of like the perfect storm with rates so low, prices increasing for a seller, for a homeowner who's already owns a house to look at refinancing or using the equity to buy up, get rid of their MI, cash. I mean, there's so many options that they can do right now.
Let's go through some of those options. I mean, first of all, if I'm a home seller, let's talk about that, Dacia, real quick. So if I'm someone who, and when I say I'm a home seller, it doesn't mean that my home is listed on the market right now. It means that I'm someone who's thinking about or knows that my time in this property is limited. I'm not going to be here forever. And you start making plans for what's the next step. Is it going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? That's a home seller. Okay, you're someone who you're going to sell your home in the near future. Right now appears to be a very good time to be a home seller because prices have gone up so much, because interest rates are still low and making things affordable for buyers, and the fact that there's also what seems to be a pretty low amount of inventory or homes available for sale out there. Would you call this the perfect storm, for a home seller?
I definitely would. I read somewhere that we're number 3 on the list for the lowest inventory in the country.
Wow.
And so, so that's an amazing time to sell. Now, that being said, sellers kind of still have that, well, this person down the street sold their house for this much, so I can raise mine 10,000 because I have granite countertops. That's not the case. Buyers are still a little bit wary of the prices, so you want to be priced to sell, to get as many buyers as you can, writing offers, and through that process of negotiation, the value and the price of your property will come up in the negotiations.
Right.
And so you get the best price if you really, market your property aggressively when it comes to listing it. But it is a great time to sell.
Yeah, it would seem like right now, if you were a home seller, meaning you have that forecast in the next few years, you might want to really take a good look at this market, because we don't know what's going to happen with interest rates. We don't know necessarily what's going to happen next, but we do know right now things are looking good.
Yeah.
So Dale, on your side, for the homeowner who bought their house a year ago, let's say, and thought, well, yeah, we bought our house. Maybe at that time they even felt like they paid too much because prices had gone up so much from the lows of 2010 and 2011. Do you think that they would be surprised if they checked on it today what their home's worth?
Absolutely. I had just even recently a client who bought a home FHA. I want to say last October, September, October, kind of towards the end of September, I believe, and we were able to just close on his refinance, get him out of the FHA loan into a conventional loan. He put some work into the home and what he was he did some upgrades, but our appraisal came in so much better that he was even able to get under 80% loan to value, and that just blew my mind in a year. It was La Mesa. It's a really nice area.
How much did the house go up in value?
It went up. He bought it, I believe, at $440, and it appraised at $540.
Wow.
It was incredible. Now that's it's not the rule. That's kind of an anomaly with
He had to be shocked about that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But he did get a really good deal on the place. So there are still good deals out there. But overall, if you get 5% equity in your home and you bought the house FHA, you can refinance it into a conventional mortgage and get rid of your monthly MI, even though it's a lender paid MI. You take a little bit higher of a rate, but you lower your monthly payments dramatically.
Yeah, that's really the key. That's where, if you're a homeowner, where you can save money. The opportunity that's knocking right now is right there.
Yeah.
Mortgage insurance. That's this insurance that you pay that really helps the bank make sure that they're protected in case you default. That's what it's for. But if you have enough equity, you don't have to pay it. Here's the thing: the bank doesn't check on that every day to see, did they have enough equity? Do they have enough equity? Can we take the mortgage insurance off?
Well, with FHA, they never take it off.
Right.
You never get rid of it. And they lowered the MI amount, this year, but it's still not. It's still a big chunk of your payment. It's almost as much as your property taxes.
Right.
So if you're paying that much yearly, and it's not tax deductible, it's not it's not helping you, why not get rid of it?
Oh, get rid of it for
Especially
sure.
early on in your loan when you haven't been paying through those first 5 years of interest on your mortgage. When you pay early on, and you can refinance, you're not like you're starting your mortgage all over again. It's not like you're at year 20 and now you're starting back at year 30 again. You're within the first year, 18 months, you get rid of it and have that lower payment for the life of the loan.
Right, and all you need to do really to check on that is just get an appraisal, or even just get maybe even a comp search to start. You could see, okay, is it in the ballpark? I just think a lot of homeowners out there don't realize how much the property's worth, and therefore how much money they could save. Like you mentioned, $300, $400, $500 a month in MI.
Yeah.
That's pretty common now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when that was crazy.
Yeah.
People would just be like, no way.
Yeah.
I don't want the financing. But here we are in San Diego County, which is a huge geographical area, huge, and we have so few homes for sale. So many people who want to live here. 10,000 new residents coming in every year.
Yeah.
We're not making 10,000 new houses.
No.
We just aren't.
No, we're not.
And that is the equation you really have to look at.
Well, and that's what when people come to me and they're looking and they want to buy a house with limited down payment, and maybe there's a few things in there, they don't have a good reserve amount. FHA is a great loan. You get in there, the lender can pay a bunch of your closing costs, maybe all of them, and all you have to come in is with that 3.5% down payment, which is really low. What I always try to tell my clients is the FHA loan is not a loan you want to think about keeping for the life of your loan. You don't want to think about, I'm going to keep this 30 years, so I'm going to buy down the rate because of that MI.
Yeah.
So the fact is if you can get into the house with just your down payment and in a year refinance into a lower rate, you're getting the advantage of the conventional mortgage with no MI, and you're basically only having to put down that FHA down payment to get there. So it's like you're using the market. to
Right.
get there. And that appreciation of 5%, 4 to 5% a year, which is what we've seen, is right there.
And what's funny is, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, Dacia, because a lot of times people are always talking about payment. But the down payments also go up when prices go up, right? Has that been a problem for any buyers that you've talked to?
Not too much. There's a lot of different type of financing, and using Dale. He's my brother.
You use
but-
Dale?
Yes, I use Dale.
Do you
and
refer people to him?
actually, as he's speaking, I'm thinking about how I need to refinance my own house
That's
right
right.
now.
Yes.
But
There's a deal.
you got to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to look at it right now. You just, it's just crazy. I mean, you'll be
Yeah.
able to quickly find out, what your appraised value is probably going to
Yeah.
be, and that really tells you the tale
yes.
right off the top.
Exactly.
So down payments haven't been a big issue for home buyers then?
Not too much, because there's that FHA program with the 3.5% down. A lot of people qualify for that,
Right.
and the debt to income is a little easier to qualify for too. So with Dale, and usually the buyers, we can help them with their closing costs through the process. So the 3.5%, that's a good deal to buy a house, and like Dale said, refinance a year later, and
Be in good shape.
yeah.
I mean, that's the
And rents
that's
are
the
so
goal.
high.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's the goal to refinance a year later. I mean, nothing's a guarantee, but at the same time, with where rates are with FHA, a lot of people are still getting sub-4 rates on FHA loans and getting big rebates from the bank to pay their closing costs.
Right.
And looking at rents, they're just so high that you look at buying and the tax benefits of that, and you just think it's a no-brainer.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because we talk about the perfect storm. Right now in San Diego, what's happening is we have the influx of people we mentioned, 10,000 new people moving to San Diego, becoming residents here every year. We're not making that many homes. And then you also have a situation where, interest rates are low, which is making it affordable for people to be able to buy homes. But then you have rents. These are the things that kind of weren't the same in the last boom, right? We did have lower rates back then, but the rates are lower today than they were then. So if you go back and you say, all right, well, what was different about the last boom and this boom? The supply and demand is just crazy.
Yeah.
Back then you couldn't rent a place. I mean, it was impossible. People were trying to rent, they were giving it away.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you might have to take $1,000 a month hit
Yeah.
on this investment property. I mean, that's what people were buying investment properties and taking $1,000 cash flow hit. That's not the way it is now.
No.
It's not like that now, because there are, I think, less people who can qualify because of credit issues that happen in the bust,
Yeah,
if you
and
want
you
to call
actually
it
have
that.
to have a job.
And you have to fully qualify. You actually have to really qualify. So if you add all those things together, there's opportunity there. But I'll tell you right now, if you're a home seller, meaning that in the next 3 years you're planning on selling your home, take a hard look at this market. Take a hard look at it, because you may, 2 or 3 years, you may wish you'd sold today.
Yeah.
And same thing, if you are a homeowner, you just bought a house, let's say it's been a year, or maybe even less, maybe 8-10 months, take a look.
Yeah.
You might be surprised what the property's worth and how much money you could save. Dacia, Dale, thank you so much for coming today. Really appreciate your insights.
Thanks,
It's great to have you both.
Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Look at this. We did this. We did all of this.